Hello guys, welcome back. In this short video tutorial, we will be talking about JSON and how to interact with JSON through PHP. It's a huge topic, so I decided to skip it actually. I will just show it to you, but I will not do anything more. So I suggest you to have a look at more informations if you want, because otherwise I should have made for a lesson course of JSON. I decided to not do it. Anyway, let's talk about what JSON is. JSON is a data container used to send, receive, and store variables. This one that you are seeing is a JSON file, and every of these curly brackets things are JSON objects that they always have a key and value pairs. The key is always a string, and the value pairs are separated by columns. I already talked about these things in JavaScript, so I don't want to really make a lesson about JSON. I just say a few things. The key are strings. The values can be even numbers, can be booleans, can be strings either. Okay. Here we don't have it, but we could have nested JSON objects like a key that has an object inside. JSON generally is just a collection of objects that they are not objects of JavaScript, but they are not language dependent. They don't belong to JavaScript or PHP or whatever. They are just objects. So data is a type of data compression and is very used among developers to send data and receive data using JSON. Especially between the backend and the front end. That's why we are talking about it. Anyway, what we are going to do now is just to see how how we can encode or decode our JSON files inside our with PHP. Okay, so first we want we already saw file get contents, and we are going to take file.json. Nothing more simple than this. I think this was file.json. Yes. Okay. We're going to take file.json, and we can just echo file get contents exactly as it is. And of course, this will show us all our JSON file. Second, we can store this into a variable to keep our code readable. So this is names equal to file get contents, and then we could under slash names under slash names. You shouldn't create two variables with the same name, but for this purpose we can. Okay, JSON decode. Because now we want to work with our JSON file, no? So we want it to become an array or an object of PHP that we can work on and we can edit as we want. So JSON decode under slash name. So, okay, maybe, okay, names2 names2 and JSON decode under slash names. Now nothing will appear on the screen unless we actually echo $names2, and now I think it will cause an error because let's see, we decoded it and now we have a PHP array. Okay, here it says array to string conversion on line 8. This is a warning, not an error. Mind yourself. The code has worked. It's just showing us. What is this? It's just showing us. Sorry, it's just showing us that we are. The code is facing a problem running, and after that, it shows us that what we have is an array. It's not showing anything else than array, because we are not it's just showing us the type of the array that we are looking at. Okay. If we want to see the array in itself, we could use printar. We have seen printar shows us the content of the array. The content prints us the array on the screen. And in fact, now this has become an array with key value, with array 1 and blah 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 blah, etc etc. Okay. But still nothing is really readable and understandable. We have to do something to make what we are doing readable. Since we have our variable names, and we can now this is an associative array. Anyway, we can loop through it using the for each method. So for each $names as name echo, and here I'm going to use actually it's an invalid HTML code, but it doesn't matter because I'm just explaining to you. So we are going to create a list and echo. Then we have our echo $name. We are using the arrow function, not arrow function, the arrow functionality of PHP, and we're going to take here. We can look. We have these values now, so we can take name, for example, and we take dollar as dollar name dot. Okay. Okay. Boom. And for blah blah blah, and our for loop and dollar names too. Sorry. Boom. Fantastic. And now we can come here. And as you can see, we really created our list. And as you see, yes, I wrote Paolo 1, Paolo 2, Paolo 3, Paolo 4, because in the at the beginning inside our my JSON file there was names, and I didn't want people complaining. Maybe there is your name, so I wrote my name in all of them. Anyway, okay. I want to show you that we can even go further because we can make things complex, and that's what I want. For example, we could create a phrase, a sentence. Paolo, okay, speaks dot dollar name language dot okay, Paolo speaks this language. His ID is okay. I hope you're following, but it's quite simple. His ID is $name ID dot, this I missed a dot, and his motto is dot. It seems complicated, but I'm just creating a string of word. Don't worry. Okay, $name motto was bio. Okay, boh, tac, tac. We can review it slowly, maybe. Okay, and this should definitely, apart some spaces errors, let's see. Okay, Paolo speaks Hindi. His ID is blah blah blah. This I missed some spaces, but it doesn't matter. And then his motto is, and I missed another space, and that's it. And as you can see, this is the way through which many websites create those lists of paragraphs that they are all similar to others, but maybe there is a word that is different one from the other. Anyway, okay, this was the array decode function. We have saw it, but we can do the opposite. And but we can do the opposite. For example, let's say that now I don't before I decoded a JSON file that comes to my PHP, no? But maybe I want to encode a PHP array for the front end, for whatever. Okay, so let's pick two of these. Let's just take two because otherwise it becomes big, huge, and it will. In fact, all that I'm doing is quite not correct, but anyway. Okay, we have this, and we call it $JSON equal to, and since there are you see here we have double quotes, so I use single quotes and everything should work fine. Okay, now we will use $names again, JSON encode. And JSON encode, we take it. JSON encode accepts 2 or 3 parameters, actually 3 arguments. The variable to be encoded, so $JSON. Then a list of encoding option that they are a lot of the that we will see, but we will just ignore it, and the maximum nesting depth of the JSON, and definitely we are going to ignore it. Just know that it's 512, but it doesn't matter. The point of is the encoding option. Maybe we will see 2 of them. There are plenty. You can see it now. JSON. Okay, all these are encoding option, and of course most of them we will never see it in your life. Okay, so JSON encode, and now echo $name. Okay, and as you see here, it printed what it was printing. It didn't throw any errors. There is these strange things that make everything unreadable, and I know it. I'm sorry. Is the carriage return that has been read and parsed as that double underscore r underscore n, and it has been printed on the screen because this is the carriage return for Windows and this is for Linux. We could somehow delete it and make it become a carriage return, but it's complicated and is not the scope of the lesson. First thing, because the scope here is not to print on the screen this one, because we could just print the JSON file, the string here. The point is to create a variable that is a JSON, and so from here we're going to send the JSON to the front end that will receive it and print it on the screen. But we don't care if echo is working this way, but okay, fine. Anyway, to show you something else, we have JSON pretty print is is maybe the most used, the only used, not, but the most used. Is very simple. It puts spaces in between of the different strings, and you will see it now. Actually, probably it will become worst. It didn't take it. Okay. Okay, in this case, I think. Okay, yes, in this case, it doesn't make anything. Sorry, I made a mistake. No, I will show you what does JSON Pretty Print right now. Just that with this, it doesn't make any differences. Probably because this is a string that is in itself is a string, even though if inside there is an object, but it doesn't matter. What I wanted to show you is that we can parse a string as a JSON, okay, but we can even parse arrays. We can even encode arrays, PHP arrays as JSON, no? For example, remember that we can create arrays. Doesn't matter, let's make it in one way. We are creating an array. One is Paolo, the second is Pietro, the fourth is Matthew, and the last is Maria. Okay, so we have this array of people, and we want to make it become a JSON, not because we want to print it on the screen, because you can print it on immediately as you want using a for loop or the printer. In this case, if you use echo, it will cause a problem, as you already saw. But it's not this is not the point is not to show on the screen. The point is to make it become a JSON, and you can, even if it's an array, you come here, you make name, JSON encode, JSON. Now let's remove this. Okay, and we have this, and this is a JSON. There are no spaces with JSON Pretty Print. You come here, JSON Pretty Print. As you can see, there are the spaces, and definitely it makes some difference sometimes. Another thing, this is an array. This is an array because if you encode, if you use JSON encode, the output will be or an object or an array. In this case, is an array because it's an array because it has started from an array, so it became an array. If you want, you can use this other second argument, which is JSON for subject. And now you can see, and you can use both. Okay, now I can see that this has become an object of one of a numeric object, numered object of names. Okay, you can even use both. You can use JSON Pretty Print, and then it's fine. You can place plenty. Okay, and the second argument was 512, and it doesn't change anything, and this is really useless. Okay, so this is all I wanted to show you about JSON, and definitely, trust me, is not everything, so check it out, because it should make a lot of work. And secondary, most important, you need to work with the front end, so with JavaScript, and I didn't want to mention JavaScript in this course. For example, here I'm making a fetch request. Maybe some of you don't know what is a fetch request. I talked about it in my videos. If you want to see my videos of JavaScript, you are more than welcome. Many times you will be in need to use fetch request to the PHP that asks for the database to the JSON and then send the JSON to the front end. Fetch request or XML HTTP request. Anyway, I decided not to cover this. Go and check it out. Thank you very much for watching. And the next video will be talking about object-oriented programming, I think, or maybe something else. Thank you very much for watching anyway, and bye-bye.